It's not the kind of loneliness you see in movies. It doesn't come with tears or dramatic sighs. It's quieter than that. It's the kind that slips into the room around dinner time. The kind that hums in the background when you pour 1 cup of tea instead of 2. The kind that doesn't ache but lingers. You sit in your chair, the clock ticks, the house is still, and you think to yourself, I'm fine. Because you are. You've built a life, you've raised a family, you've survived loss, you've kept going, but still, something in your chest feels unoccupied, not empty, just unmet. You're not looking for someone to fill you, not anymore. You've outgrown the fantasy of being saved. You don't need flowers or flattery. You don't even need company every day. But sometimes, late at night or in the stillness of morning, you wonder, could I love again? Could someone love me as I am now? And maybe, just maybe, the scarier question is, do I even believe I'm allowed to? Because we've been told, subtly, silently, that love is for the young, that after a certain age, romance becomes a memory, not a possibility, that hearts wrinkle along with skin, that there's something silly, even foolish, about falling in love again when your hair has turned gray. But what if they're wrong? What if love after 60 isn't a second chance? It's the first real one. Because this time, you're not falling in love to feel whole. You're not looking to be completed, rescued, or rewritten. You're not blinded by urgency or fear of being alone. This time you come with experience. You've seen what love isn't. You know the price of staying in something untrue. You understand the quiet power of being with someone who sees you, not who they want you to be. And that kind of love is deep, it's slow, it's real. So stay with me, because in the next part, we'll talk about why love, at this age in this season, is not weaker, but stronger than it's ever been. So why does love feel deeper after 60? Because something inside you has changed. Not just your body, not just your routine, but the way you love and the reasons you love. When you were younger, love may have felt like fire, bright, intense, unpredictable. It swept you off your feet, made your heart race, and sometimes left ashes behind. It was exciting, yes, but it was also driven by need, by longing, by a desire to feel whole, to be chosen, to be seen as worthy. You loved because you were searching for identity, for purpose, for safety, for someone to tell you you matter. But now, after 60, you've lived enough to know you already matter. You no longer need someone to complete you because you've discovered you are already whole, and that changes everything. Now, when love finds its way to you, it doesn't come crashing in. It arrives gently, quietly, almost like a friend, not a storm. It doesn't demand to be the center of your world. It asks only to sit beside you and share it. You don't need loud declarations anymore. You don't need someone to rescue you. You don't need grand gestures or endless explanations. What you crave and what you're finally ready for is presence. Someone who truly listens. Someone who doesn't fill your silence, but honors it. Someone who doesn't try to fix you, change you, or mold you, but simply says, I see you. And I like you, just as you are. Love after 60 isn't about fixing loneliness. It's about choosing connection. It's about wanting someone, not because you're afraid of being alone, but because being with them brings peace, not pressure. That kind of love feels deeper because it's no longer rooted in fear. You're not rushing toward a future or running from a past. You're simply being together in the now. It's the kind of love that doesn't ask you to perform. It asks you to be real. It says, you can leave your makeup off, you can talk about your losses, you can cry about the dog you still miss, and I'll still be here. This love doesn't burn. It glows, it doesn't consume, it warms, and perhaps most beautifully, it doesn't try to be forever. It simply values today. Because after everything you've been through, you understand that time is precious, that souls are fragile, that joy isn't guaranteed. So when someone offers love at this stage of life, and you're ready to receive it, it lands deeper. It settles in your bones. It feels like a soft return, not to someone else, but to yourself. In the next part, we'll talk about how love after 60 shows up in quiet ways, in shared routines, in thoughtful glances, in silence that feels like home. Love in our younger years was often loud, big gestures, passionate arguments, flowers to say I'm sorry, late-night phone calls filled with promises, hearts on fire, words flying fast. But as beautiful as that chaos sometimes was, it came with a cost. The cost of being seen only in parts, only when dressed up, only when exciting, only when things felt new. Now after 60, love shows up differently. It no longer shouts, it settles. It no longer chases, it stays. You start to understand that real love doesn't have to announce itself. It's not in the fireworks. It's in the slow, daily warmth, like a steady flame that never flickers, even when the world outside grows cold. It's the kind of love that looks like bringing your favorite cup of tea without asking, sitting beside you in silence and not making it awkward, remembering how you like your toast, even after all these years. Walking side by side, no rush, no destination, just the rhythm of two souls moving together. There's a sweetness in this kind of love, a depth that youth often misses. Not because youth is wrong, but because youth hasn't learned how sacred the ordinary can be. When you're young, you think love is about spark. When you're older, you realize love is about safety. Safety in knowing you don't have to be interesting all the time, that you can be tired or quiet or even grumpy and still be loved. That's real. Love after 60 is not a show. It's a shared space. It's not about becoming someone's everything. It's about becoming something steady, a soft place to land, a gentle presence in the noise of the world. Sometimes it looks like shared routines, watering the plants together, watching the same movie for the 5th time, going to the same market on Saturdays, not because it's exciting, but because you do it together. Sometimes it's in the quiet gestures, a hand on your back as you walk up the stairs, a blanket pulled over you when you fall asleep on the couch, a knowing glance when something reminds you of an old memory, and they just get it. Love like this doesn't make your heart race. It makes it rest. Because you're no longer proving anything. You're simply sharing time, sharing breath, sharing days. And that, in its own way, is the most romantic thing of all. In the next part, we'll gently explore what holds many older adults back from opening to this kind of love. The fears, the doubts, and the silent questions that still live in the heart. Even when the heart still longs, even when you feel ready to love, there's a voice inside that whispers, "Be careful. Don't be foolish. You're too old for this." And that voice, it doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from the stories you've lived, the people who left, the wounds you never got to talk about, the years you spent giving and not receiving, the disappointments that made you think, maybe love just isn't for me anymore. And so instead of opening your arms, you fold them. Instead of saying yes, you say I'm fine. Instead of admitting you still want connection, you call it independence and try not to feel the ache. But here's what I want to say gently. Wanting love, even after everything, does not make you weak. It makes you brave. Because after all you've seen, all you've survived, it takes courage to still believe in tenderness. But the fears are real. Let's name them. 1. What if I get hurt again? You will. Not in the same way. But yes, love always carries risk. But now, you are wiser. You know how to set boundaries. You know how to walk away. You're not the same person who once ignored the red flags just to be held. 2. What will my children think? This one runs deep. So many older adults hold back because they fear judgment. From family, from friends, from a society that romanticizes youth but forgets the beauty of late-life connection. But remember, your life belongs to you. And your children, if they love you, want you to be at peace, not just well-behaved. 3. What if I'm not lovable anymore? This fear is the heaviest, because it's wrapped in body changes, health concerns, insecurities, and a culture that rarely shows aging as beautiful. But hear this. Love is not a reward for being young or perfect. Love is a response to presence, kindness, wisdom, and soul. And those are the very things age has given you, not taken away. You don't need to be who you were. You don't need to compete with anyone. You only need to show up, honestly, gently, as you are. And if someone sees you, truly sees you, not in spite of your wrinkles, your story, your scars, but because of them, that love will be unlike anything you've known. Because it will be built not on illusion, but on truth. In the next part, we'll talk about how to open that door, not by rushing, not by pretending to be fearless, but by simply beginning with presence, clarity, and the quiet belief that you are still worthy of being loved. So what if your heart is still capable of love, but you're not sure how to let it open? Not in the dramatic, sweeping way you once might have, but in a quiet, intentional way. A way that says, I'm ready to share, but not to surrender who I am. Because this time, it's different. You've earned your solitude, you've built your rhythm, you've fought for your peace, and the last thing you want is to lose all that in the name of romance. That's why the way you love now must be different. It must be gentler, wiser, rooted not in need, but in mutual respect. Here's how you begin. 1. Know that opening your heart doesn't mean rushing into someone else's world. You don't need to move fast. You don't need to merge lives overnight. You can get to know someone slowly, over walks, phone calls, shared books, laughter. Let love build like a garden, not a wildfire. 2. Be honest from the start. You don't have to impress anyone. At this age, authenticity is far more attractive than perfection. You can say things like, I value my space. I need time to feel safe. I've lived a lot, and I carry both joy and pain. And the right person will not run, they'll stay and listen. 3. Keep what matters to you. Don't abandon your morning routine, your quiet evenings, your friendships, your independence for anyone. Love at this stage isn't about becoming one person. It's about being two whole people who choose to walk together with their own pace and presence. 4. Let vulnerability be a strength, not a weakness. Yes, it's scary to say I've been hurt, I still get lonely, I'm afraid this might not last. But the older you are, the more you know. Vulnerability is not recklessness. It's clarity. It's saying, I know the cost and I still believe it's worth trying. 5. Ask yourself, is this love making me softer or smaller? There's a difference. The right love will soften your edges. It will ease your breathing. It will bring a lightness to your day, not a weight. If you feel like you're shrinking, hiding, or constantly trying to measure up, pause. You're not too old to walk away from what doesn't feel right. In fact, you're finally old enough to trust your own knowing. And here's one more thing. You don't need to call it forever. You don't need to plan decades ahead. You just need to ask yourself, is this honest? Is this kind? Is this peaceful? If the answer is yes, then maybe, just maybe, it's time. Time to say yes. Time to open the door, even just a little. Time to allow someone in, not to complete you, but to walk beside you. In the final part of this video, we'll close with something soft and healing. A reminder that no matter your age, your story, or your past, you are still worthy of love. And it's not too late to feel it again. So maybe you've been sitting with this question for a while now. Is it still possible? Can love still find me? Can my heart still open? Can someone still look at me as I am, wrinkles and all, and see something beautiful? Let me tell you this, not as advice, but as truth. Yes, it is still possible. Not only possible, but deeply, quietly meant for you. Because love isn't only for the young. It's not a prize for smooth skin or quick steps. It's not something you earn by being perfect. It's not limited by time or measured by age. Love is a mirror, and the older you are, the more it reflects back who you really are, not just who you were. You've lived, you've lost, you've survived heartache, disappointment, maybe even betrayal. But through all that, you've also grown. You're not looking for fantasy anymore. You're looking for presence, for a connection that doesn't demand performance, just honesty. For someone who sees the fullness of your story and says, "I'm not here to fix you, I'm just here to walk beside you." And that is real, that is rare. That is what makes love after 60 so deeply beautiful. Because this time you don't fall in love blindly. You choose it with your eyes open, your heart open, and your feet grounded. You know what matters now: peace, respect, companionship, warm hands and slow mornings, shared laughter and quiet nights. Not because you need someone, but because it's simply lovely to be met where you are. So if something in this video touched your heart, if even a small part of you still hopes for that gentle, real kind of love, leave a comment below. Just write, "I believe in love, even after 60." Let those words be a beginning. Let them be a promise to yourself. Not that love must happen, but that you won't close the door on it completely. Because hope isn't naive. Hope is alive. And if you've carried it this far, you owe it to yourself to let it breathe. And if you'd like to walk this path with us, gently, without pressure, subscribe to this channel. Here at Golden Pathways, we speak to the parts of your heart that the world often forgets. The longing to be seen, the desire to feel again, the courage to begin softly, bravely, even after everything. You are not alone. You are not too late. You are not done. You are still becoming. And yes, you are still worthy of being deeply, fully, truly loved. Thank you for being here, for listening, for remembering that love, real love, doesn't expire. It only grows quieter until we're finally ready to hear it again.